Reciting the rules of the Road Rule 1-38.
Rule 1. Application states that the rules applies to all vessels upon the high seas and all waters connected to the high seas and navigable by sea-going vessels. Rule 2. Responsibility. Nothing in these rules shall exonerate any vessel or the owner, master or crew thereof from the consequences of any neglect to comply with these rules or of the neglect of any precaution which may be required by ordinary practice of seamen. Rule 3. Definition. Here a vessel not under command means any vessel which because of some reasons cannot keep out of the way of other vessels. Rule 4. Application. Rule 4 says the section applies in any conditions of visibility. Rule 5. Lookout. Requires that every vessel shall at all times maintain a proper lookout by sight and hearing as well as by all available means appropriate in the prevailing circumstances and conditions so as to make a full appraisal of the situation and of the risk of collision. Rule 6. Safe speed. Every vessel shall at all times proceed at a safe speed so that she can take proper and effective action to avoid collision and be stopped within a distance appropriate to the prevailing circumstances and conditions. Rule 7. Risk of collision. Every vessel shall use all available means appropriate to prevailing circumstances to determine if risk of collision exists. Rule 8. Action to avoid collision. Any action taken to avoid collision, the effectiveness of the action shall be carefully checked until the vessel is past and clear. Rule 9. Narrow channel. A ferry proceeding along the course of a narrow channel or fairway shall keep as near to outer limit or the channel of fairway which lies on her starboard side as is safe and practicable. Rule 10. Traffic separation scheme states that ships crossing traffic lanes are required to do so as nearly as practicable at right angles to the general direction of traffic flow. Rule 11. Application says the section applies to vessels in sight of one another. Rule 12. Sailing vessels. Power-driven vessel must avoid and or give way to all sailing vessels when under sail. Rule 13. Overtaking. Any vessel overtaking any other shall keep out of the way of the vessel being overtaken. Rule 14. Head-on situation. When two power-driven vessels are meeting on reciprocal or nearly reciprocal courses so as to involve risk of collision, each shall alter her course to starboard so that each shall pass on the port side of the other. Rule 15. Cruising situation. When two power-driven vessels are cruising so as to involve risk of collision, the vessel which has the other on her own starboard side shall keep out of the way and shall, if the circumstances of the case admit, avoid crossing ahead of the other vessel. Rule 16. Action by give-way vessel. Every vessel which is directed to keep out of the way of another vessel shall so far as possible take early and substantial action to keep well clearly. Rule 17. Action by stand-on vessel. Take action to avoid collision by her maneuver alone as soon as it becomes apparent to her that the vessel required to keep out of the way is not taking appropriate action. Rule 18. Responsibility between vessels. Deals with responsibilities between vessels and includes requirements for vessels which shall keep out of the way of others. Rule 19. Conduct of vessels in restricted visibility. State every vessel should proceed at a safe speed adapted to prevailing circumstances and restricted visibility. Rule 20. Application. Every vessel shot at all times maintain a proper lookout by sight and hearing as well as by all available means appropriate if the prevailing circumstances and condition so as to make a full appraisal of the situation and of the risk of collision. Rule 21. Definition. Side lights means a green light on the starboard side and a red light on the port side, each showing an unbroken light over an arc of the horizon of 112.5 degrees and so fixed as to show the light from right ahead to 22.5 degrees above the beam on its respective side. Rule 22. Visibility of lights. The lights prescribed in these rules shall have an extensity as specified in Section 8 Annex 1 to this regulation so as to be visible at the following minimum range. Rule 23. Power-driven vessel underway. A masthead light forward, a second masthead light above of a higher than the forward one, except that a vessel of less than 50 meters in length shall not be obliged to exhibit such light, but may do so side lights and stern light. Rule 24. Towing and pushing. State that when a pushing vessel and a vessel being pushed ahead are rigidly connected in a composite unit, they are regarded as a power-driven vessel and must exhibit the lights prescribed in Rule 23. Rule 25. Sailing vessels underway and vessel under oars. These rules may be combined in one lantern carried at or near the top of the mast where can best be seen. Rule 26. Fishing vessels. Vessels engaged in fishing show side lights and stern light only when making way. They do not show anchor lights. Fishing other rolling vessels never show masthead lights. Rule 27. Vessels not under command or restricted in ability to maneuver. A vessel not under command shall exhibit, first, two all-round red light in a vertical line where they can best be seen. Second, two balls or similar shapes is a vertical line where they can best be seen. Rule 28. Vessels constrained by their draught. A vessel constrained by their draught may, in addition to the lights prescribed for power-driven vessels in Rule 23, exhibit where they can best be seen three all-round red lights in a vertical line or a cylinder. Rule 29. Pilot vessels. A pilot vessels, when not engaged on pilotage duty, shall exhibit the lights or shapes prescribed for a similar vessel or her length. Rule 30. Anchored vessels and vessels aground. A vessel at anchor shall exhibit where it can best be seen. In the forepart, an all-round white light or one ball. At or near the stern and at lower level than the light prescribed in subparagraph 1, an all-round wide light. Rule 31. Seaplanes. Where it is impractical for seaplanes or a wig craft to exhibit lights and shapes of the characteristics or in the positions prescribed in the rules of this part, she shall exhibit lights and shapes as closely similar in characteristics and position as is possible. Rule 32. Definitions. Rule 32 gives definitions of whistle, short blast, and prolonged blast. Rule 33. Equipment for sound signals. Rule 33 says vessels 12 meters or more in length should carry a whistle and a bell, and vessels 100 meters or more in length should carry in addition a gong. Rule 34. Maneuvering and warning signals. Such signals may be supplemented at night by light signals of at least 5 short and rapid flashes. All vessels involved in an overtaking situation should act in accordance with the call rigs as required by the circumstances of the case. Rule 35. Sound signals in restricted visibility. applies in or near areas of restricted visibility, whether by day or night. Rule 36. Signals to attract attention. Any light to attract the attention of another vessel shall be such that it cannot be mistaken for any aid to navigation. Rule 37. Distress signals. When a vessel is in distress and requires assistance, she shall use or exhibit the signals described in Annex 4 to these regulations. Rule 38. Exemptions. Says ships which comply with the 1960 collision regulations were built or already under construction when the 1972 collision regulations entered into force may be exempted from some requirements for the light and sound signals for specified periods.